This is my recently finished song journal,
Yeah.
which is March 2019 to July 2024.
Yeah.
So there's a lot in here. A lot of boygenius stuff.
There's a song on every page.
Yeah, some of them are poems, which are not good. I promise you, they're not good.
I have a hard time believing that from you, but
Just sometimes I'll write a poem and there'll be something in it that then becomes useful for a song.
yeah.
But when I go back and look at songs, I'm usually like, that's kind of, I can stand by that. When I go back and look at poems, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, it's very embarrassing. But that being embarrassed at yourself is like good.
Isn't that part of the process, I think? Yeah, right? Failure is part of the process, or
for sure.
And boredom and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Boredom, a lot of good stuff comes from boredom. I'm trying to, there's VBS, Brando.
Mm-hmm.
Brando was called Movies for a while. So Ankles had this first verse that I wrote, and it was called Don't Be Afraid. And the whole first verse is not good.
So you crossed that out.
So crossed it out. And I finished that on Christmas.
On Christmas Day in Philadelphia.
Alone in Philly. Oh my gosh. And then there was another one I did on Christmas Day. What was it?
It was Limerence, wasn't it?
It was Limerence,
same day.
Yeah. So I started that on December 20th and finished it on Christmas Day.
One of the things that's striking about this journal is there's very little that's actually crossed out. I mean, there's one tiny little thing there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. This is kind of how it is.
This is just how it emerges.
But that's
from
after talking to myself a lot.
Yeah.
Like often when I'm writing, I'm singing it out loud.
Yeah.
Working out things like out loud to myself.
Yeah.
So it's just me with me for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Before it ends up here.
Yeah, and just with not my phone, it's just me, usually on a walk, out loud to myself, over and over and over. Because by the time I get here, I have to think about spelling, I don't want to think about anything else other than how it sounds and how it feels.
Yes.
And so I kind of delay writing anything down or typing anything down for as long as possible.
Right.
But yeah, the lyrics and melody are usually, I write at the same time.
You don't worry about forgetting things.
I guess that's why I repeat it to myself, and it also shows what's important.
Yeah.
Because I do forget things, but those, I guess, were not the important things. Everything I remember is what becomes the song, and I guess that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Gosh.
What is usually the genesis of a song for you? Is it a melody? Is it a lyric?
Usually a lyric.
It is.
But usually lyric and melody are happening at the same time. Because I feel like melody gives context to the lyric.
Yeah.
If those are two entities, they need each other in order to exist for me. Because you can say something, and then if the melody is really peppy, it can be not that interesting. Or it is interesting. If you're saying something really dark, but the melody is bright, then that's kind of cool. There has to be that contrast.
Yeah, there's an inherent tension in there.
Yeah, yes. Or you just lean into it for what it is.
Yeah.
And that can be a relief sometimes to just be in a chord.
Yeah. So if you start with a lyric, do you typically hear a melody with it, or do you start trying melodies that you might have in your head with it?
It's usually the melody comes with it, kind of with speaking. When you ask a question, your voice goes up at the end because you want people to know.
Yeah.
So if I'm singing, it's like an exaggeration of just a tone of voice in a way. Or if I hang on to a word, it's almost like the saturation on that word deepens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's Letter to an Old Poet.
So there was a wheel there.
What's the wheel?
What is the wheel?
Oh.
That.
Was it this?
Yeah.
So I was asking people in the studio how they think of time.
Yeah.
How they visualize a year.
Yeah.
So for me, I visualize a year September to August in a row with boxes because that's how I learned it in kindergarten. Because the school year starts in September and they were all on the wall.
Yeah.
And so for me, I restart my year at the end of August
Yeah.
and beginning of September. But then a lot of people were saying they imagine it like 12
Yeah, like a
hours
clock.
on a clock.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix Riziomanis, who does
The
the violin and piano. But she was explaining that her year is like
a pear.
looks like that. It's like pear-shaped,
Yeah.
and the winter
Why-
months are lower and longer.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Why were you asking this question?
well, because I was curious.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I guess like again, I think about time all the time and people's conception of time and
Yeah.
how closely they hold the idea of time and how that influences their life, because I feel like I'm thinking about time so often.
Yeah,
So this is how I figure out the track list order.
yeah,
I'll put all of the song titles
yeah.
on this side and then the number here, and it's like process of elimination. So
Yeah.
some songs I'll be like, well, this has to be on the first half of the record, so I would block out all of the second half. And this Big Deal, I knew I wanted to be first, so I would circle that and then block out the rest. And Lost Time, I knew I wanted to be last.
Yeah.
So these were a couple different feeding through
Uh-huh.
on the machine, and there's a song that didn't make it.
This almost looks very mathematical.
Yeah, it's kind of mathematical. Yeah. What happened here? What did we add? We added Forever Is a Feeling, and we took away More Than Friends. But yeah, I mean, it's still similar. We took away Bus Back to Richmond as well,
Oh,
but
for another record.
for another time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you couldn't take out Forever Is a Feeling, but...
Well,
Was
it
the
came
album-
after I made this,
Uh-huh.
because I knew I thought of that as an album title,
Yeah.
and then I was like, it's such a good sentiment that I believe in.
Right,
And I had all these other bits, some from 2021,
yeah.
that I like sewed together basically
Yeah.
to make Forever Is a Feeling, the title
So
track.
did the song come after the title?
Yeah.
It did,
Well, I had written that line as
Yeah.
a fragment,
yeah.
so I took the title from the fragment, and then I
Yeah.
was like, I'm being lazy, I should just make the fragment a whole song.
Uh-huh.
And I really like that one.
Yeah,
To me, it feels like a bunch of different song pieces.
yeah.
But I don't really mind. It just kind of goes wherever.
You've said that it was actually somewhat difficult to go back to doing just a solo album? Mm-hmm. Why?
I mean, I miss my guys.
Yeah.
I miss Phoebe and Julian. Mm-hmm. And interviews too.
Yeah.
Like, I liked being able to look this way and that way and be like, what are we going to say?
Yeah.
I mean, I still show them everything, and
Do you?
not just them. Yeah, I don't make anything without their minds on it.
Is any part of getting back to your own space and your own world satisfying?
Yeah, definitely. Also, like when I write for boygenius, I try to write things that we can all relate to.
Yes.
And in my project, it's like just my feelings, so,
Yeah.
or my experiences, and it's just like a whole other depth to plumb.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you're out there on your own.
Yeah, it can be lonely.
Yeah.
And I love like my band and the people I play with,
Yeah.
but I miss them. And I don't love like being the center of attention, which is happening all the time in this job. You know, and the
Yeah.
band is just Lucy Dacus. It's like, that's the center. But
You're it.
yeah.
It's really great, though, that you miss being in the band. I mean, that's, as tough as that may be, it's great that you feel that way.
It's nice to have things to miss. Like whenever I'm home, I miss tour. And whenever I'm on tour, I miss home.
Yeah. If you miss it, it means it's really good.
Yeah. Having a life full of things that you miss is like a good sign.
I love the video for Ankles. It's just so much fun.
Thanks.
You look like
It's
you're
so
having a
much fun.
blast.
It was so much fun. Yeah. I did faint on the second day because that dress is so heavy. Like from writing the story to designing the dress with Rodarte,
Yeah.
working with Havana.
Where did you come up with the idea for the video?
I guess where do you come up with anything?
Yeah.
I didn't want to like do the video one-to-one because that'd just be like kind of soft porn maybe for the lyrics. It's like kind of it would have been a lot. I did not want to do that. So I was like, how can I capture like this feeling of like restraint or like this imagination versus reality, knowing that the album art was this actual oil painting of me. It's like maybe there can be like me as this like free, curious, sensual character, and then kind of like someone just doing their job, straight-laced, you know, the tight bun, like working against my wishes for freedom. And then, yeah, I love Paris, and like, why not? I don't know. It's like
That's the best reason for doing something.
I like have a bunch of people around me being like, yeah, let's do that. So I've been kind of like pushing it and being like, can we do this? Can we do that?
You described Ankles as originally a sad song. It doesn't play like that. When you sing it, what does it feel like to you?
I think it feels fun. I feel like I blush sometimes. I haven't been like explicit like this before, or even like romantic. I don't feel like I've written so much about romance or love or like let people in on that part of my life. So that's maybe also why I'm kind of scared. This is just like so precious to me.
When you were writing this and you were realizing you were getting more personal than you typically do in songs, did you hesitate at all?
Not in writing, but definitely in recording. I still feel hesitant, but I guess that doesn't matter because I've made the choice to share it. And that's kind of also what life is like, I feel, where it's just like, I can't just like stay at home and like hold my breath and not do anything.
The song seems to have been received really well.
Yeah, that's nice. But I would hope that I would still like it even if it wasn't.
Sure.
That's my goal, is that I don't ever make anything that like on my deathbed I'll be like, I really regret that. And so far, knock on
Hasn't happened.
air. Yeah, I'm cool with what I've done.
In a couple of moments in this album, you sort of talk about blowing up your life and whether you have the courage to blow up your life. Did you have to blow up your life?
Yeah, that sounds so dramatic.
But it is dramatic.
Yeah, I went through a breakup. I moved across the country. Like, I was falling in love with someone else. It can be very tumultuous. But I was actually like, I did a tour on a couch from back pain, and I was like having all of these like somatic symptoms of stress and anxiety, and got some advice basically that like, what are you trying to avoid like thinking about or admitting to yourself? Like, what about your life is actually intolerable? And it's like showing up in these other ways. And I haven't really had back pain since changing my life. And honestly, being more gay, that really helped.
How do you feel about how you've done in going through that process?
I feel like I am proud of myself for being honest. And you don't really get to go through life not being hurt or hurting people. There's no option where you come out unscathed or scathing. And so, yeah, I feel like I have been hurt and I've hurt people. And some of those relationships are better because of it. Like, we've been able to deepen our knowledge of each other and our trust. Because a lot of the time what is hurting someone is honesty. And like, ultimately, if you really love someone, you want their honesty, whether it hurts or not to hear it. So I've been like really honest. And so I can stand by that. Yeah, I guess I don't really have regrets.
That's got to feel liberating for you.
Yeah, it's liberating, and then you just gotta like hope other people are finding their own liberation as well. But it's sad when like you want to reach for something more or something more tolerable, like a more tolerable life, and other people don't. And I'm being so abstract about this.
I think I understand what you're saying. It seems to me when you go through that, you're asking yourself a lot of hard questions about who you are. And you're trying to rebuild yourself in a way. Based on the answers you give yourself. And that's when you have to be being honest with yourself is the first part.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was not married ever, but I've been thinking about how, like, a lot of people I know that are, like, on their second marriage are so much happier.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, like, initially you're moving through life per convention or what you think is expected of you, or even just what the other person wants, like letting other people define what your life looks like.
Were you doing that in any way, do you think?
Yeah, I think even though I have, like, so much control over my art, which is how, like, most people see me, I feel like personally and socially I can be kind of a coward because I'll let other people define what I'm doing. Or like if people want something from me and I have it, I'm like, yeah. And I don't really stop to think whether, like, what do I want in this situation? And that's part of why, like, blowing up my life is just, like, getting in touch with what I actually want, or, like, what will make me feel alive.